Okay, and moving on. We have a Metal Stetson. Hey, hands off, partner. I ain't no concerned hat left by the wayside. I'm a genuine cowboy. I'm supposed to be helping out at the jailhouse, but some darn fool wore me as a hat while I was snoozing on the bus. I really need to get myself a proper host so this doesn't happen again. I just need to figure out how to ride one. Is there anything here? No. Onwards. We're looking... Oh, hello, Sonic. Sonic is there. But I'm Sonic. But for now, we have 85th place. What do we have? Lost Caverns of John Gata. Lizard Commando. Now that is a name I very much recognize. That is the creator of the Super Mario Bros. Free stage from the previous contest. So, with an overall score of 57. So what do we have here? 3 60s, a 50 and a 40. So just over half for design, practically half for fun. Creativity wasn't the greatest, aesthetics were decent, and functionality was pretty much flawless. Just a 9 from Flashman. So, ooh, creativity is not very high, huh? Well, let's see what we got. Lost Caverns of John Gata. 4 tokens. Fine, onwards we go then. Oh, it's this song again. A Napalm Man power set. I do like the animated trees here. I'm trying to remember whose song is this? Or where is this from? Because it seems familiar. It feels familiar. We definitely heard this in the contest already as well. Previously. I just can't remember where. So various kinds of Sniper Joes, it seems. Yes, eat my Cheerios. Right or down? Down it is. Oh. Far more durable than I expected it to be. Okay, now it really is feeling like Napalm Man. You're an aggressive Joe. Hey. Whoa, rapid fire, Joe. Ow. Ah, so if you want to get the token, you have to do it legitimately. But, well, we have utilities, so... Oh, and the water gimmick is here too, I see. It doesn't actually push you if you stand underneath it. Well, this one doesn't. I thought the other one did. Yeah, just there we go. This is what I was saying. It pushes you a little bit at least. So you have to be careful here. Oh no no no, we really don't need you to come here. Definitely not, sir. Okay, some of these jumps are more precarious because of that. Spike drop, of course. Oh! Ooh, what is that to the right there? Is that something I should be wary of? It looks like a different palette. Oh, hello! You've reskinned this boss! Okay! Nice one. Nice, I approve. Anything dragon related? Oh, that was almost more a dinosaur, that wasn't it? But yes, anything dragon related, I certainly approve. Hey! Capsule. Here is the thing. Okay. Can I go to the left? No. Okay, so that would connect with that different pile of block swaps, but I guess that was nothing after all. Ow. Is there anything down there? I mean, that looks pretty suspicious. But if I go down, I'm gonna try it. So, you can. Ah. So that makes me curious now. That probably was something. And you can go left. What about right? Can I go right? No. Okay. Right. I feel like I've definitely missed something then. Jet bike. Alrighty. Fitting. That's the What happened there? How did we miss the token? That was quite poor. So let's try this again. Alright, there we go. Ooh. Boss? Yeah, it just felt like it was coming. Suddenly, desert tiles? Okay. So the second token was very likely where those breakable blocks were. So what's to the right, if anything? Nothing. So up we go. Oh, okay. Crashman platform. Okay, wait. Let's deal with you guys first. Because... Oh, and that too. That helps. Now we just have to look for the dotted lines and jump before them. Perfect. Oh god, what's this gonna do? Up or left? What's up? What's left? Gameplay that doesn't make me feel me with confidence is what's to the left. Oh, careful there. Okay. Oh, okay, I need to get down there. Oh, I had no jump. I was expecting a much bigger jump there. Okay, so it's the waterfall that's preventing me from jumping, huh? Can I get out of here, please? Okay, much safer. There is a lot going on in this room. So what's to the left? Nothing? I suppose the way you're meant to play this stage is from left to right. But I've kind of just taken a different approach to it by accident. By coming from a completely different direction. Oh! Up it is. So left or where are we going? Left? No. So one token has been missed and I have a good idea where it is. And that's the boss. So we do have an alternate route to check out. So what do we have as the boss? Oh. I'm trying to figure out who you are, and I can. I can't figure out if that's a resprite or just straight up a custom boss. Considering I can't figure out the resprite, I'm gonna go with a custom boss. I mean, okay, if you just do this, buddy, you can move, right? You know you can move, right? Oh! Ow! That charge shot does so much damage. Ah, you did the double jump, see? So if it's the single jump is a big one, whereas the double is a small one. I messed it up. Okay, so that's it. Well, we do have a second path, and I pretty much... Then again, how the hell do I get in there while falling? Skull sounds. For such a lazy robot, Skull wasted no time getting himself made into a marketable plushie. You'd think you have a bad time of it. Nice reference. Giant Spearman. Story 1. Cutter the Giant Spearman. Well, you know how it goes. See you at next point of interest. Yes, I know it's there, but I need to just hold right, it seems. Oh god. No. Nice. Yeah. So, hog to the right, but not too much to the right. Maybe now all the way to the... Oh. And checkpoint reach, which means I've already... I have to go back to the beginning of the stage, don't I? Because... Nice. So you only get one shot at it. Well, that's rather unfortunate. Back we go then. Alright, here we go. So we have to hold left. Left. Yeah, there you go. Boom. So it is rather unfortunately implemented how you only get one shot at it, and it's literally right there. Almost looks like it's the remains of a teleporter. Can we do anything up here? No, there's a ceiling there. Invisible ceiling. Yeah, can't jump through that. Well, that's it for the stage, so everything gathered. Make sure to turn that off. And judge commentary time. Lost Caverns of Jungata, which I guess is a spin on jungle in this case. Or it's some sort of civilization or city within the jungle called Jungata. What do we have? Mick, 50. So, is there some reference here that I'm not getting? Or is Jungata not really a thing? Either way, this is an okay level with fairly inoffensive design. It makes decent use of its various cannon-based enemies, has some pretty neat crash lift, and it was cool to see the beached submarine on the alternate path. It also has some decent Joe lookalikes. The regular one makes a decent obstacle, and while fighting it head-on can be a pain. I appreciate that the blue one is more challenging than a typical Sniper Joe. Unfortunately, between the militaristic enemy set, the aesthetic, and the use of gimmicks like waterfalls, Jungata feels more like its own thing, and more like an Napalm Man 2.0. This is a bit of a weakness. The lack of significant personal identity means Jungata fails to leave an impression. And while the crash lift sections are of some interest, though I wish they got more time without waterfalls, the combat sections and the jet ski feel very standard with no real interest. This level is still inoffensive, but it's also very unmemorable. For future levels, I would advise something that feels less derivative. Shin 44. This is a level that, at first, I didn't really have a strong opinion on one way or the other. There's nothing outstanding here, but it's also relatively inoffensive, at least until about 1 or 2 minutes in. Starting off, the platforming / enemy placements are all pretty basic, barring a few questionable things here and there. The introductions to the Machine Gun Joe reskins could have been a bit better. Plus there's one Batan during the first waterfall section that can easily catch you off guard and lead to a cheap death, seeing as he shows up right next to a Shadow Man platform. Those aside, however, I didn't have any other issues with the opening of the level, at least until I got to the spike drop. For the record, I didn't have a problem with the spike drop itself, it's very easy in fact. What I do take issue with, however, is putting a small side room with a token in it during that segment, and then putting a checkpoint at the end so you can't quickly redo it. Thankfully, it doesn't take that long to get back to that spirit-specific part, but even so, going through the opening section again just for another chance at that token room is still pretty tedious. I can see how that's a flaw, that's fair. Unfortunately, the issues with tokens in this level don't stop there. The two remaining ones are on split paths, both with checkpoints at the start of them. I get this is probably meant to introduce replay value, but I still dislike the notion of having to redo a large portion of a level just to go down one other path for a single collectible. Granted, you can bypass this altogether if you take the bottom route with the wave ride segment, then backtrack a little to get the other token. Once the path converges. That's what I did! By accident, while exploring. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but either way, it cuts out a lot of backtracking. And really, that's all of the notable stuff I can think of for this level. What remains after the tokens are pretty standard platforming challenges, with maybe the exception of the waterfall / Crashman platform segment, which I actually found pretty engaging without utilities. If there were more sections like that, I definitely think this level would have fared better. Instead, the token routes and the potential tedious backtracking they represent largely overshadowed the rest of the stage for me. Patchy 65. Relic of Past Civilization. Pretty straightforward level, a little bit generic as far as gimmicks go with the Shadow and Crashman platform and Crash platforms. There's also some weird reskins going on, possibly of references I don't really get. Despite that, the level still makes decent use of its gimmicks, and it's also fun looking at the supposed John Gutter robot of the Lost Civilization. Hey, so you're also making a reference to John Gutter being a civilization, so it wasn't just me. Fair enough. During the spike drop, there is a sudden split path for the token, which is a bit rude since it's easy to miss the platform first time around and be forced to restart when you reach the bottom and trigger a checkpoint. Third token in the wave bike side section is a bit obscure to get to, not too bad once you notice the hints. Boss is a reskin of Pharaoh Man. Oh, I didn't pick up on that. Damn, it's so obvious. Pretty much, with a few tweaks on the damage number to make it more punishing. Pretty nice attention. With the resprite work though, Flashman 60, it must be a requirement that any jungle-themed level in this contest has to feel like it's missing some context. Between the unique-looking Joe enemies, the very cool beach submarine, and the intriguing secret room, there must be more of a story behind this level than the player can see. Thankfully, I'm only curious and not confused. Confusion only comes into play if I unwittingly go the wrong direction when the split paths reconnect. Polish issues like that are the level's biggest struggle. Take the tile work for example. The level does a good job of smashing together familiar tile sets to create something new, especially outdoors. And I dig the big hollow water pipe that splits into a pool. At the same time, the different tile sets don't always transition smoothly into each other, and individual tiles, usually corner tiles, look a bit off. One thing that annoys me is falling blindly down a shaft, spotting what looks like a secret area, and then hitting a checkpoint before I have any opportunity to throw myself into a pit and go back for the secret. Waiting endlessly for moving platforms to sync up or loop back around is another annoyance. Special weapons certainly help, but they often remove the challenge entirely, which is the case with the token. I'm definitely guilty of that one. For me, set pieces such as the falling bridge and the dinosaur tank are the most memorable parts of the level. The soundtrack too. Platforming and combat are fine, not overwhelmingly novel or engaging, but by no means terrible. Power-ups and checkpoints are decent, attempts are made to introduce new concepts safely, and it's nice that the boss's projectiles are destroyed along with the boss. Focusing on a slightly smaller group of assets, fleshing out the story and keeping a closer eye on the little details are what I'd like to see most here. And A66. This is a stage that lands in the realm of fine. It's a nice romp with a few flaws that knock it down, but overall still a fairly above average Mega Man stage. It really leans rather heavily into Napalm Man, but does enough to not feel like a total rehash. And it is a romp. I don't really come away from the stage marveling at the enemy placement, but they also don't fall into the camp of mindless time sinks and nuisances. Bar a few exceptions I'll note later. And some of the 1 HP enemies that are a danger only as you're crossing platforms are honestly well positioned and fun. Honestly, that first water flow room a la Napalm Man is a blast. I think the lack of copter joes by itself does that. The use of Crashman platforms overall did the job for me. Some fun timing challenges, but I think the waterfalls made the odd one a bit too tight. The baton tons were really rather mean in this room though. This is probably the part of the stage I took the longest to clear, by a long shot. It didn't quite fall into frustrating, but I think this section might be rather divisive as it's cutting it real close. I appreciate the new enemy types, basic and familiar though they are, and I think they look rather nice graphically, but they stick out like a sore thumb next to the cutesy Mega Man enemies. Ideally, it will be rather nice to see the entire roster at least graphically swapped to be consistent if possible. The actual tiling on the stage is respectable and looks good to me. The shipwrecked submarine from Blizzard Man is a really cool segment to mix things up. Didn't know it's from Blizzard Man, to be fair. In many stages, the fact that death pits aren't graphically marked would be a knock against it, but a notable thing here is the stage design. Basically makes that a non-issue, with the only exception being a weird water pit on the wave bike path. The use of split paths doesn't really detract here, but don't really add anything either. I will say that the point where they reconnect is rather needlessly obtuse and confusing. This stage has a rare case when I think a checkpoint is rather badly positioned and too early. The drop for the club token is not all easy to parse, so when you fail with a checkpoint immediately on landing, it makes repeated attempts require a total forced restart. Really was rather vexing. The boss, whatever its name is a positive end to the stage and is also a simple fun run. The charge shot probably does way more damage than it should, but it's also so well telegraphed that reliably dodging becomes second nature. Like seriously, this is how to do telegraphed attacks of this nature. Build up and a tellable sign. It's about to launch. Good stuff. So I can see the similarities to Napalm Man too, and I did skip a good chunk of the tokens with utilities, especially the last one, where there's so many Crashman platforms with the waterfall gimmick. But it is certainly a bit confusing knowing which way you're meant to go, because I went all the way to the left after taking the wave bike segment, whereas supposedly there's a part of the stage I didn't even see which would lead you to the fourth token had I went the other way. But I did notice that the blocks look differently. Which is where the second and third tokens are hidden. The second token being placed right before the checkpoint is a bit mean, because missing it means you have to replay the whole stage. Not that it's long, but still, it's a rather mean placement. If anything, putting a checkpoint right before the spike drop would have been better, rather than after it, because that way if you fail it, you can just restart and you're not forced to go through the entire beginning and opening section of the stage. Like I said, it's a decent rompy stage. Has some clever implementations of the gimmicks, not ones I actually played around too much with because I just felt like I was going to fall into a pit. So most of the time I was just magnet beaming. The boss is a Pharaman reskin, which I didn't pick up. I tried to parse it, but I wasn't able to gather that. Which makes sense now that I think Patchy mentioned it. And besides that, it's a stage again that's fairly playable, has some sort of theming going to it, and it's good and fun to play, but it's not one that will ultimately stand out among the rest. I'm looking for something that will wow me, that will completely push a gimmick chosen to its extreme, something that's maybe even less a Mega Man stage and something never seen before, because that's also what I look for in these contests. Nonetheless, this was a pretty decent stage, and one that's certainly playable, so good job on that. And with that said, let's take a quick refreshing pause, and I'll be right back.